Hello, welcome to Dungero's podcast. I'm your host, Justin. Today we're reviewing Razorjack, a 2013 graphic novel by John Higgins, published by Time Comics. So yeah, this is like a horror sci-fi mystery uh, story. It's written and drawn by John Higgins, who was the colorist for Watchmen and Batman the Killing Joke. Which it's funny that they mentioned the Batman the Killing Joke, because Brian Bolland apparently hated the colors for Batman the Killing Joke. So when the graphic novel got re-released, or sorry, when the series got re-released, Brian Bolland was like, DC, let me do the colors. I hated the colors for Batman the Killing Joke. Yeah, so this graphic novel goes for $20 US, 23 Canadian. I paid $10 for it. So that should tell you something about the quality. Right, so I gotta be careful with this comic, because there's a lot of booba in this book. Well, no, it's mostly in the beginning and near the end. Right? Like, right, hey, cover yourself up, woman. So yeah. So by the way, right away you can tell there's a lot of Clive Barker's Hellraiser influences going on here, right? So the story for this book is that it's basically you have this alien fantasy world. You have this alien fantasy world, right? Well, that's ruled by these like Cenobite-looking women, or Cenobites, right? And they all serve this being called the Razorjack, which that's the Razorjack there, and she's basically like they call her the Iron Queen. Um, she's basically this evil demon queen thing, right? And she kidnaps like her main two henchmen, which is this guy and that girl, which she calls her elite warriors bitches. And they dress them up in S&M gear. These two are like the children of one of her enemies that she turned into, like, um, turn into like her evil sadistic henchmen, right? So yeah, at first, like the book opens up with these guys hunting this what you think is a naked kid, which is like, well, that was very weird. And it turns out it's a monster, and that they're chasing it because it ate and killed a baby, right? And they were trying to kill it, but it turns out the thing is a pet of the bitches, right? Which are like the enforcers of the Razor Queen, right? And they get punished by being killed, and they have to uh, send like all their daughters less than 5 years old to be sacrificed to the Razor Queen, right? So it goes on to like modern day New York, or not, sorry, App City. It's basically New York though, right? Where you have our two main characters, Ross and Frame, who are detectives. Ross is supposed to be, you find out, is half Japanese. I never took her for being Asian, but yeah. So like they're on this case to find out what's going on with these serial killings. There's like a lot of ritual like murders going on, right? And it turns out that the cops or somebody is like covering it up, like O'Malley here, right? So our two characters go and investigate what's going on, right? This guy gets kidnapped by Mr. Khan and Mr. Jones, which are the two main one of the main bad guys in this book, right? Yeah. So yeah, like Ross goes to rescue this guy who's been kidnapped, right? And gets attacked by Jones and Khan, which they're very sexualized dialogue here. Yeah, he grabs like they make a thing like, oh, this chick has no small boobs, and like, oh, maybe not so little, a handful after all, when they grab her, right? So a lot of sexual violence, some sexual violence against women in this book, right? Yeah, it turns out that these guys are all working for the Razorjack, and the Razorjack is trying to get into our world so she can wipe out humanity, right? And you have these three kids who are, it's not exactly sure how old they're supposed to be, either they're in high school or college, but yeah, you got the couple here and then this dude who are practicing for some acting class. They're gonna do some Shakespeare play where they have to be witches, right? So there you see the Razorjack, right? And this chick, her name is Lady Helen. She's the mother of these two, and she's part of some order of women called sisters who have special powers who are trying to stop the Razorjack from going to alternate dimensions, right? So yeah, you have this thing where like SWAT goes into kidnap this guy and kill Ross, right? Not knowing that she's a cop. Also, these two guys go after Frame. But there's a cool shootout. Right? Yeah. So like, what happens here is these guys perform a ritual. He gets possessed by Razorjack, right? So yeah, you get a cool shootout in a bathroom where Frame like ambushes these two guys, right? And despite being dead, they still show up, right? Here you have Ross getting into a firefight with SWAT. Does not even announce to the SWAT, hey, I'm a cop, right? Because she just assumes the SWAT know, which it turns out they didn't know, right? More nudity. Sorry, I gotta be careful. Yeah, so you got lots of action in this book. You also got like the weird horror shit where like this dude gets possessed. And I feel so bad for Simon, he gets cucked by this guy, and Simon actually saves the world because like this dude gets possessed by Razorjack. She's coming over the edge, right? Uh, she, she's heading over to the other side, and what's his name? Simon knocks out the one dude with a baseball bat, right? Yeah. So in the aftermath, you have like Frame gets shot by O'Malley, who was part of the cult trying to bring Razorjack over. His body disappears, right? For some reason, Ross does not go to jail or lose her badge because she gets shot by SWAT, but she got into a gunfight with SWAT and never announced, hey, she's a cop. So like, she probably would have gotten in trouble too as well. But whatever, right? Yeah. So like, everybody thinks everything's back to normal, when really it isn't, because the ritual murders are happening again. Somebody's trying to bring back Razorjack, and it turns out it's this guy who cucks our boy Simon. Right. Also, Frame fuses with the Lady Helen, right, and gets superpowers. And at the end of the book, they stop Razorjack from coming back from coming to Earth. Sorry, not coming back, but coming to Earth. He gets his new costume. I don't know. It's pretty cool though. So there's also two bonus stories where Frame and Ross start this trans-dimensional detective agency where they stop beings from coming over to our world, right? It's super short, and you got a glimpse of summer, written by Mike Carroll with art by John Higgins, where this is about Razorjack sends one of her female warriors, the Twist, to go to ancient Japan to try to kill the ancestor of Ross, even though Ross is not fused by one of the is not fused by Lady Helen. It's Frame, so it's like, what the fuck? But whatever, right? It turns out the dude, is able to come up with a plan to kill the twisted bitch, because that's what they're called. I'm not being sexist, Also, you get some cool cover art, as you can tell by the initial character designs. So obviously Razorjack had some nipples things going on, but they had to censor it for the cover. You can really see the Hellraiser influence. Okay, so what did I think about this story? One, I thought the violence and action looked good. The art style is a bit cartoony. It kind of reminded me of early Todd McFarlane art, right? Yeah, but the story is very simplistic and rushed. Would have been better if it was a series and not this very rushed standalone story, right? Which does kind of have this open-ended ending, but still, man, I don't know. I read the premise. I saw the cover. I kind of was expecting more, but it was too rushed. The book was basically a combination of Hellraiser meets H.P. Lovecraft, right? And I don't know. It could have been fleshed out a bit more. Would have been nice to see a bit more of the Razorjack's world, which is called Twist World, right? Because it has this cool sci-fi mixed fantasy kind of world. Would have been nice if we had a story where we got to see people over there try to fight and resist the Razorjack. But yeah, we just get this story that's basically our people from our world is trying to keep the Razorjack out. It's a very simplistic story. Yeah, but overall I thought it was good, though a bit rushed. The art was cool. Some of the dark humor was funny. I especially liked Jones and Khan, and you see them they're like zombies. They get brought back as zombies in Twist World, and they're complaining, dude, this wasn't the eternal life we were promised. And the one dude, because he has his face, gone. He just has a hole through his skull where his eyes and mouth used to be. He can't talk and he's blind. So the other dude has to talk for him. I thought that was kind of cool. But yeah, I don't know. Would I recommend this? The art was interesting, but it was not the greatest, and the story is very simplistic. If you can get this book for cheap, then I would say I would recommend it. But yeah, it's not a great book. It's 6 out of 10. I think there's a reason. I always found it interesting. There's people who can draw but are only colorists or inkers or whatever, right? And then what's up with why don't they draw or do books? There's probably a simple answer for that. Maybe they're not good at like meeting deadlines, or they take they take they cut corners or whatnot, or they're just bad at character designs, like like a certain deaf colorist. Uh, Man, like that's. Yeah, I'm not gonna name drop him. Well, but whatever. I still think the book is, this book. If you like, if you're a fan of Hellraiser and you want like an action, like kind of like X-Files meets Hellraiser kind of story, then check this out if you can get it for $10 or less. If you can't get it for $10 or less, then don't bother. I thought I read like Garth Ennis liked this book. Oh yeah, Garth Ennis did apparently. So did Warren Ellis. Yeah, so that's it for this review, guys. For our next comic review, we're gonna review New 52's Captain Atom, Volume 1 Evolution, which I haven't read a Captain Atom book. Thought he was really cool in Justice League Unlimited, so I'm kind of looking forward to reading some Captain Atom. Well,